guys. Hi, everyone. I love you too. 10 Vols 3. Hi, Carl. Welcome to Let's Go Live, guys. Who's a born Gallus? Hands up if you're a born Gallus. What's up? It's Eugene is here. Awesome, guys. So I'm super excited because we have a global superstar who's going to be joining us in just a few seconds. This guy right here. Sean Paul is going to be with us. The multi-platinum selling, Grammy award winning artist who has had more than 1 billion views on YouTube. He's had more than 600,000 streams on Spotify. He's worked with everyone from Beyonce to Rihanna to Major Lazer to Sia, Nicki Minaj, Migos. The list goes on and on. Let me just check and see if Sean is in the building. Is Sean in the phone yet? Okay. Let's see. Sean's not here yet, but hi, Pri. Billy's in here as well. What's up, guys? So, guys, tell me, what is your favorite Sean Paul song? Because there are so many to choose from. Tell me some of your favorites in the comments right now. We've got Jamaica in here. Kino 49. Quan. Something's going on with these comments. Okay, here we go. What's up, Billy? So just so you guys know, I've known Sean for a number of years as well. I've interviewed him over the years. I interviewed him early on in his career. It was early on in my career as well when I was hosting a public access show, like super low budget TV. And I interviewed Sean then for the first time. I've interviewed him for BT. I've interviewed him for the Channel 11 Morning News, Pix 11 Morning News as well. Haven't seen him in a number of years. So I'm really excited to chat with him. And I'm so proud of the fact 20 years later, he is still just as relevant and still killing the game. He's got 2 albums that he's going to be releasing soon. One of them is a dancehall album, which is called Live and Livin'. See hashtag Live and Livin'. March 12th, that's going to be coming out. Hi, Lauren. What's up, guys? Yeah, the Lily Doll is with us as well. Wash DC Bodymore 295. Yeah. And also we have, he's got a, let's see, is Sean here? No. Okay, he also has a pop-centric album that's going to be coming out in May. So he's got 2 albums coming out back to back. Okay, Sean is here now. Let's bring him up. Okay. Your request, Sean. What is going on with my hair, guys? It's a little wild today. Sean Paul, Dirty Paul, there you go.
What's up? What's
Paul,
up?
how are you?
I'm good, besides my shiny head.
It is quite shiny. Well, you've got the spotlight shining right on it.
Yeah, exactly. How are you?
How are you doing? It's been a number of years since I've seen you. I was just telling everyone how proud I am because I interviewed you early on in your career, and to see you, still killing the game. You've got these 2 albums that are going to be epic. That are going to be coming out soon. So awesome.
Thanks.
Stuff. Yeah,
I appreciate it. Yeah, it feels like back in the day for me right now. I've been at home a lot more. Yeah. And those creative flows is flowing. So yeah, definitely.
You have.
Back in the day.
You were at home for about 5 months, weren't you? Where you didn't even leave the house.
Yeah, I was a numbskull. I was like, yo, I'm not going nowhere. I mean, I kind of felt like I couldn't just adjust. I needed to adjust in my own way, and that was it. Yeah. And I live with my kids and my wife, and my grandmother's 96. She's right here with us, and so I just kind of wanted to be more protective than anything else. And I was just locked off for 5 months, and then start coming out my shell a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and getting hard at work as well. And you haven't left Jamaica in over a year now, which is really unheard of for you, isn't it? Because I mean,
it's been that way for a minute, and this is my home. I do live here, but I'm traveling more than 6 months out of the year, and it's kind of crazy. So that's giving me a lot more family time, which I've been feeling amazing about. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Good. So tell me how quarantine has changed you. Do you feel like you're a different person now after all the events that have taken place over the past year? Or has your outlook on life changed?
Yeah, for sure. But for everything that may be perceived as a great negative, I always find something that's positive that I can work with that situation. That's how I quote unquote survive certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for this, it's the same way for me. You know, I just feel like even though that's happening, and there's a lot of like uncertainty right now, I'm certain that I'm here with my family and growing up my son and my daughter in the best way possible. So, and also, you know, making some good music back again. It's giving me the opportunity to sit back and be in studio where before it was like flying. I got 2 days. I got to do this step out.
Yeah.
Let's bang it off quick. Let's go again. You know, so it's been like that, which has been cool. I've been handling it, but this has given me so much more space. So 2 albums now, you know. Yeah.
Which is incredible. That's a lot of music right there. So it gives you more time to really focus on the songs, and you don't have to make such quick decisions on what's going to go on the album and what's not.
Yeah, and I just done a lot more work also in those last couple months. You know, just started to pick up the juice, them and just like, let's do it. So I had ideas from before and whatnot. And so the 2 albums are, as I caught you saying something about the more popular the next one that's coming out.
Yes. So, so that's Torture, but Live and Living is coming out March 12th.
Yeah, so Live and Living is I named it this because a lot of people, which you may or may not be aware of, say nowadays, you know, dancehall, the numbers are not there and it's dead. And I'm like, nah, check the pulse. We live and living. We're here. We're here.
You're proving it. You're proving it with this album.
I just think that it's just a statement. I mean, even if it doesn't budge their numbers, still, for me, everyone who I've worked with on the album is someone who I revere, whether you're an artist or an engineer or, you know, a producer or somebody who did the artwork for the album, which is right there.
Oh, nice.
Live and Living.
That looks good. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I just feel like, you know, I revere all of these people and their great works. And this is a time where people need work. And I've had these ideas and I wanted to flesh them out. So it was the best time to do it, you know?
Yeah. And we're definitely going to talk more about both albums. Are you in the studio right now? Is this your home studio?
Yeah, I'm in the side section. This is like the corner where we play video games on that TV. But the studio is over there.
The guys are walking around in the back. They're working on something, picking up something new.
That's how it is, you know, studio life.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Gotcha. So before we get into the juicy part of the interview, the 10 and 10 challenge, I do want to ask you something that's been on my mind for a long time. I've never asked you, and I guess it's Googleable, but just the name Dirty Paul, like, why Dirty? Where did you get the Dirty from? Just how dirty are you, Sharon?
I'm a dirty dude. But, Dirty was the name of the crew that I came from, Dirty Cup Crew.
Got it.
Dirty Cup Crew. We named it that. It was back in the day probably more of a taboo. That right now it's the norm, I guess. But Dirty Cup was like for a chalice, like to smoke weed.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we were some little rebellious kids being like, yo, let's make music and smoke weed and look woman and.
How old were you at the time when you were part of that crew?
I was actually about, I say a little kid, but I was about 23, 24. And I was a little kid compared to now, how I am now, what I've experienced in life now. So, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So that was the crew, like you were all artists, or what was that crew exactly?
Yeah, all of us were artists. There was Dadigan, who just passed away. Unfortunately, right now, his name is engraved and he's all over that song that I call Never Gonna Be the Same.
Yeah.
He was taken out violently, which it's kind of the reason why. Yeah, it's kind of the reason why I came together with everyone here on this album. There's more people who I do love and would love to work with and shine the light on. But these are just people who are kind of close to me right now and that we're working with. You know, my friend Dadigan is kind of like in his honor to kind of fight against the kind of clash mentality that we all have. Know what I mean?
And I am going to ask you about that too. In the 10 and 10 challenge, we're gonna get into all of that. Okay, so are you ready for the challenge? Should we get going?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so here's the icebreaker one. Everyone who watches the show knows this one, but complete the sentence. I give the best blank.
I give the best. I give the best kiss. I think that's what
Okay. What makes it so good?
I'm tasty, I guess. I don't know.
Flavored lip balm or something. Or it's just
yeah, something like that. The cologne drags them in.
okay. Okay. All right, good answer. Okay, question number 2. I'm going to name 4 of your song titles, right? And I'm going to ask you a question around each title. Not necessarily the meaning of the song, but the title.
Okay.
So the first one of my favorite Sean Paul tracks ever, Give It Up to Me with Keisha Cole. I never get tired of that song. I never get tired of it. But what's one thing that you've had to give up in life that was really, really tough to do?
To give up.
Yeah.
Well, I've given it up several times, but I've always gone back to it, and that's smoking. It was very hard. It was extremely hard. But yeah, I've given it up a couple of times. Yeah.
Why did you give it up, and then why did you start smoking again?
Health reasons, and just like I have asthma, so when I first started to smoke, it was pretty liberating for my lungs. I could breathe a lot, and then I started to gravitate towards the potency vibe, and I started to gravitate to like Chalice, as I said, Dirty Cup Crew, and it was just too much smoke, so I kind of gave it up for a little bit. But yeah.
Okay. Are you on it now, or not now, but like?
Yeah, no. Every now and then I'm smoking, but I ingest weed a lot. I think most of the people that know me know that. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. Be careful with the asthma. Be careful with that.
Yes, ma'am. I will.
Okay, good. So No Lie, another one of my favorites with
Yeah.
Dua Lipa.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you handle it, whether it's in business or whether it's personal? If you discover that someone has lied to you, do you cut them off? Do you confront them, or do you act like you didn't know and just keep it in the back of your head?
I act like I didn't know and keep it in the back of my head.
Really?
I think yeah, it's the best way. You know what I mean? Some things are not that big of a deal, as I hear everybody saying nowadays, and I kind of have to balance things off with people. I don't like burning bridges, and also I like to know who I'm around. It could be the worst of a person, or it could be the best of a person, as long as I know that I could get hurt, stabbed in the back, bitten.
Yeah.
So I know how to deal with that. It's better that I know, for me.
Yeah. So you keep it in the back and then bring it out when you need to.
Well, not even when I need to. Just know who they are, and then ultimately, I think that when that root is cut in my brain, the relationship dies anyway. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it won't be a thing like I hate you, you wrong me, cut you off. No, it will be just like, I'm still here, but then we have nothing in common, and then eventually there's nothing. You know what I mean?
And they'll never know what happened.
Yeah, that's easy. That's for me, just an amicable way of living. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Okay, Calling on Me. That's one that you came out with this time last year, which is really timely as well, because it's really about unity and family.
Yes.
But when it comes to calling, are you a phone, a text, or a FaceTime kind of guy?
I am a more WhatsApp dude, so text. Yeah.
Oh, you're a WhatsApp guy. Okay.
Yeah.
So just the texting on the WhatsApp, or you leave the voice messages on the WhatsApp, which can be handier sometimes, right? Where you leave the voice message and send that.
I usually text, but then when there's a lot to say, I was like, yo, listen, turn left, turn right, and then go up, all right? Instead of it's easier to talk.
Huh?
No, it's easier to talk it,
Got it. And who's the person that's usually at the end of that WhatsApp message? Is there someone in particular who you text the most, or?
Wow, right now it's been everybody at the studio. We have a big group that we're in. Well, not a huge group, 4 of us, but producers and we got to get this album together. So it's been that way for the past 2 months, like every day, like
you got your group chat going on.
Yeah, group chat is good. Yeah, good vibe.
Gotcha. I love WhatsApp as well. Okay, Dream Girl is a song that you came out with back in 2012. But there's another Dream Girl, right? Is that the same song? That
Different song.
it's a different song, just the
Yeah,
same name, right? But
yeah,
this is a bunch of you on the song, the more recent one that just came out.
yeah,
But
man.
with the name, oh, go on. Sorry, Sean.
No, no, I was saying, yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. So with the name, you have reached so many of your dreams, so many of your goals, I can only imagine. What dreams do you have left that you really want to accomplish?
I'd like to be, and I'm a hit artist right now at this point, and I give thanks for it every day. But I also like to be a hit producer. I haven't produced a rhythm that really, really took
Okay.
off. A lot of people say, "Oh, I like it," but it's never, you know what I mean, gravitated to give a hit to someone else or my own self.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to try do that. You know what I mean?
How
Other
much
than that,
producing?
just live my life, man. I'm loving it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
living a good life. Okay, who would you love to produce for?
I think there's a lot of pop people that kind of dabble with dancehall, and I think I would like to hear them go more deeper into the sound, which I could kind of provide for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to call names in that respect. Who I want to do songs with as an artist, uh, Billie Eilish. I think she's
Oh
dope.
yeah, Billie Eilish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Billie
yeah.
Eilish, and also people like 21 Pilots. I like that group.
Okay, I thought you
Pretty
were going to
dope.
say 21 Savage for a minute.
No, no, I would do a song with 21 Savage as
Yeah.
well. But I just kind
Okay.
of thinking out of the box, out of my genre right now, like out of, the usual, the norm for me, for things I would love to do. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes, I wanted to kind of do projects like that, but I haven't really done much of. I've worked with people like Stargate or Banks and Ranks
Mhm.
on these types of songs that are more poppy oriented dancehall. But
Yeah.
maybe to be on one of these rock dudes rhythms, or I mean, as I said, Billie Eilish. I would
That
love
would be
to.
hard.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. I think you're going to make that happen. You're going to make that happen.
I always
Okay,
do.
so you will. So, question number three.
Yes.
What is the biggest fear that you have ever had to face in life? Or maybe it's a fear you haven't faced yet.
The biggest fear I've ever had to face in
Yeah.
life. Um, I don't really look at life fearful. Um,
Yeah.
I remember, I was fearing like dying back in the day. And my dad picked up the phone when he was at a party and said, "Look, everybody does it, so it isn't that bad, okay?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, that's pretty true." And from then on, I've never really been scared of that anymore.
Yeah. Because it's just something we all have to go through.
Yeah,
So there's, yeah.
and I think it's about here, it's about now, it's about living this one. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I've from that time I've been in tune to be like, yo, be thankful now,
Yeah.
because there's many different things that you're experiencing, and that's a good thing, even if
Yeah.
it's bad, even if it's a hard experience to go through. I think that's good
Yeah.
for you. I think the hard experiences make us into the diamonds that we are. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You can learn so much from them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So no more fears, no irrational, no phobias or anything.
I do have
Scared of
every
spiders.
3 years, like I think like I'm sick with something, and I'm a hypochondriac.
Oh,
Everybody,
you're a
if
hypochondriac.
yeah, if
Okay.
somebody like hits their fingernail, and I'm like, oh, my finger's hurting me, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, but that doesn't happen every day. Like once every 10 years, I'm like, I freak out, and then I'm good.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Did you end up getting COVID, by the way?
No, I've been COVID free, and not many people who I know have had it.
Okay.
We in the industry here have had unfortunate incidences. Big up to Toots, an icon for
Oh
us,
yes.
Toots from
Yes.
Toots and the Maytals, R.I.P. to him.
Yeah.
And also an engineer and producer we know named Barry O'Hare,
Yeah.
who was very important to the biz. So we took hits, but fortunately for me, my family members have been good, and I've been good. I'm still not sure about what I'm gonna do when it comes around. If there's a vaccine available for us here,
Yeah.
I'm mad scared of all of these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But,
you're
yeah.
afraid to get it.
Yeah, and I got asthma, so I just don't like that whole feeling, and it might give me a reaction with that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for
But
me,
then
I'm
you,
just kind of keeping it music wise right now, just trying to do a lot of music and
yeah,
keep positive that way.
stay focused. Yeah. Does everyone wear masks? Is in
Yeah,
Jamaica
before
everyone's
you
wearing
come in
masks?
here, everybody should
Yeah.
wear masks before you come in here. And we have a hand sanitizer thing on the wall, and we clean in here pretty regular. And this is the
Gotcha.
only place I really go for the past year. I really
Yeah.
don't go nowhere else. Home and here, and that's enough for me for now. So
Got it. Got it. Got it. You're taking those precautions. Okay, so question number 4, and you touched on this, but you are the collaboration king. Have you set a world record, by the way, for most collaborations? Because it's been almost 100 artists that you've worked with, hasn't it?
yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Yes.
And so much more I would have loved to work with. I see
I
my friend
can't
here.
imagine anyone else has more.
I see my friend here bigging up U-Roy. U-Roy is a DJ. He passed
My
away
cat, by the way,
last
sorry.
yesterday, and
Oh,
I just wanted to say R.I.P. to him too. He was the
oh,
first DJ. Big up Jam too, man. He was the first DJ, the first person. If he didn't do what he do, there would be no rapping or no DJing like what I do.
wow.
So he's a very important figure to us. So
Yeah.
we've been grieving for a minute, you know what I mean? But
I'm so
back to
sorry to hear
sorry.
that too.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. But big up to everyone who was his fan and his family. Condolences to you. And back to the question. You were saying
Oh, so yeah.
who I'd still like to work with.
No, well, I didn't
Or
quite get there. So just the amount of collaborations that you've done, and sorry, my cat is like, go away, Chewy, go away. The dangers and risks of working from home, right? But you've worked with almost 100 artists, everyone
yeah.
from Dua Lipa, Beyonce, Rihanna, Major Lazer, just pretty much everybody. But is there a collaboration that you decided to pass on that we might be surprised by?
um um there are people that maybe I tried on a song and it didn't catch for me. And I
Yeah.
didn't like how it was represented, but we went back and did songs after. So it would be unfair to call names in that situation.
Gotcha.
You know what
Gotcha.
I mean?
I do. I do. Well, there was one person, I mean, it was a long time ago. It was like 15 years ago, but DMX was
Yeah.
apparently upset because he felt that you passed him over to have Busta Rhymes on the remix of one of your tracks instead. But I
Yeah.
know you were like, huh? What are you talking about? So
Yeah.
what's the deal with that situation?
Okay, well, there was a lady who used to book for me back then. I had two different booking agents,
Yeah.
and she was kind of involved in bringing him down here. I didn't even know about the show really until when he kind of was almost here. And I came, I brought him weed, and we was good because we was good from before. But I didn't know he wasn't talking with her about me doing songs with him. So
Yeah.
and if me and him had spoken just like like frankly like yo, let's go studio, I would have gone.
Yeah.
So I just think that's part of his paranoia about whatever happened with her and him. I didn't have nothing to do with it. She's
Oh,
still
okay.
someone who I speak to, but she's not in my camp anymore. So,
Mm.
and that was for a brief moment back then. So I don't know. I guess he felt upset about it, but all dog had to do was talk to me, because yeah, we was good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you guys got quite close. I know you worked on Belly together.
Yeah.
So this woman was basically the one who he spoke to about doing this collaboration. I guess she shut that down, and then you ended up working with Buster, and is that what happened?
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
was at that time I was trying to get anybody who I could get on the track. I mean, I was
Yeah.
a younger artist compared to what was happening with hip hop at that time. We were a subgenre, you know what I mean? We weren't that
Yeah.
huge. And so I was just trying to reach out for anyone. So I don't remember actually asking him at that time, But the remix I always had in mind to do with Busta. I looked up to Busta a lot as well, both of the artists. But I had him in mind anyway. So what she told him was something completely different.
Got it. And yeah, Busta's always sort of incorporated elements of Jamaican culture and
dancehall vibes.
Well, so that's a natural fit, isn't it?
Yeah, man. He got Jamaican blood, and so he's always got a piece of that root there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you do work in these collaborations, do you write a list of who you want to go after, or does it just work organically? You run into people, you have that conversation, and then it happens. How does it actually come about?
Sometimes it happens just organically like that, but like with I did a song with Ellie Goulding that I put out on my last EP, and
he's amazing.
That one was just me and her walking backstage, and I'm going, hey, that's Ellie Goulding. And she's like, hey, that's it. And we like hugging, and we were like, yo, I'd love to work with you. Both of us said it at the same time. I was like, wait. Cause her first single that I heard, the Fire song, it had a syncopation that was like dancehall to me. So I like that. I want to work with her, and that was just it. A few years later, I had written a song with a writer, and I was like, let's send this to her. I think her voice was so nice on it. She did it and blew it up, you know. So
wow. So sometimes it's not even something that happens immediately. It can take a while. It can take a few years. Chewy, go away.
Yeah. The cat, right?
Yeah, he's just determined. He wants his 15 minutes of fame, and he's a fan of yours too.
He wants to shine.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were we saying? I forget.
Oh, so sometimes it can happen really quickly, and sometimes it's you wait for that right moment. Like,
yeah, for sure. I mean, art reflects life. You know, music's supposed to reflect life, and life is that way. You can't never fully plan for things. You can plan to be at the studio at 9 o'clock. You can plan to, you know, have all the amenities there at the studio, but you can't plan for have a hit. You don't know what you're gonna get. You're just working. You know what I mean? So, yeah, big up Deli Ranks. I see you, bro. Mad.
So in terms of future collaborations, I'm wondering about this one. So you say Usain Bolt now is working on music.
Yeah.
And apparently, of this song that you saying, I think I lost you for a sec. Let me wait until you.
I'm here.
Probably. Oh, okay. I think you froze.
I hear you, but you're stuck in my screen.
Oh, am I stuck too?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully, well, if you can hear me, let's keep going.
Yeah.
But Usain Bolt. Oh, here you are.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm moving you again. Usain Bolt just put out a song, and he's saying he's serious about, like, he wants to be the next big international music star. Of course, he's the fastest man in the world. So what do you think? Have you heard the track?
I've not heard the track. I've heard the one that he put out for his friend or his manager. Okay. I didn't hear his track. I'm too busy doing this right now. Big up to him. He's a hero of my own and the whole country. Also, somebody just wrote here, Chris Gayle is doing songs too. Yeah, I've heard Chris Gayle's songs. I think they're pretty dope. They're pretty interesting. Chris Gayle is a big cricketer from Jamaica. He's huge all over the world. So
you
yeah,
knew I could know that, didn't you? I didn't want to look like a fool. Like, who?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but so these sports guys are getting into music. That's fine with me. I would not step on the track or onto the cricket pitch with them because I wouldn't do as good. You know how that goes. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for them?
I always tell people doing art, do it from your heart. You know what I mean? Do it from your heart. Do it from where you're feeling that feeling. A lot of people nowadays say music is business. But I would say to them that business is business. But music is art for me. Yeah. It's expression. It's emotions. It evokes emotions, ideas, thoughts. Those things are not necessarily business to me. I think that is more art, and that music business is biz, and that comes along with it. But first, it's art for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So is there sort of a moment when you're in the studio where you just feel like, okay, this is right, this is ready? Do you have to go
All
with
the
your
time.
instinct there? Yeah.
Yeah, I still do. I mean, you know, if I was a person that didn't feel that, I probably wouldn't be where I am today doing this music same way. You have to feel it. You have to kind of live it in your brain and just go through it. Even when you're doing videos, you have to know the camera angle. You have to conceptualize what that is, what it's going to be to people, and remember exactly when you were hit by a great visual or a great song when you were coming up as a teenager or a kid. You have to remember those feelings. If you don't, I don't think you're putting enough into it. You know?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
do you get very involved in the creative side of your music videos now then as
Lately, I
well?
have been.
Yeah.
I have
You
been
always
lately
have been.
because
Yeah.
I've also been, you know, doing my own productions, Dirty Rock Productions here. And we put out the album for Ching Ching. He streamed 12 mil so far. That's amazing for him.
Wow.
Um, Also, we put out a whole heap of juggling tracks. And also, this album was coming out on March the 12th. And so I have to kind of be the person who's the record exec as well as the artist. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird for me. It's the business side for me, but it's necessary
You're a
now.
boss now.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I'm a bossy boss.
Yeah, yeah. How is that transition? You've got all these people working for you. You always had people working for you anyway, but
Yeah.
now
But
you've got
now, as a
artists
record
coming to
label,
you.
like, yeah, I have to
Yeah,
be thinking of, especially of, as an artist, I was like, oh, it costs how much more? Yeah, man, put it on the bill. But now I'm like, yes, if it sells, I got to calculate that out.
yeah,
When it's for my career, I spend it, I'll do it because I feel it from my heart. But if it's
yeah,
somebody else's career, I want to make sure that I'm doing it in the best way. I represent them in the best way. So it's a little bit more thoughtful in that direction for me. But it's good. I mean, it hasn't.
yeah.
It's not a full transition. Like I'm just a producer now. No. But it does take up a lot more time. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have no time now.
Oh,
You
I
know.
bet, I bet. How do you figure out who you want to sign to your label?
It's mostly just a feeling. There's people who are brethren with me, and they're like, "Oh, sign me," and I'm like, I don't think they're ready yet. And then there's
Yeah,
people who, most of them is natural connection. And I just
got it.
feel this person is gonna be a good artist, and then they actually bring to me like their work, like, yo, can you help me get this out? Can you produce this for me? I'm like, yeah, dope, let's do it. It's not it's not always about image in that respect for me. It's not always about um the hype that and the clout that people already have out there. It's more about the artwork, and it's weird because that's not how a business or how a real music exec would look at me. They would want to
Yeah,
know that, they have a longevity in that. And for me, I'm just like, I've been blessed to be this hit artist, so I have a commodity in that, which I could use some of that money and spend to produce others and hopefully help them out in the long run.
yeah. And you also understand what they're going through as
Yeah, as
well.
an artist,
So
for sure.
that can make you an even better record executive. Now, you said that some of your friends come to you like, "Hey, can we work together? Can you sign me?" And they might not be ready. What if someone's just never going to be ready? Like, do you tell people if you're just like, "This is just trash"? Do you
I,
tell people, or how do you handle that?
I always give people the chance. I honestly do.
Yeah.
Like, I always give the chance. Like, I'm like, let me hear you. And then if my reaction is like, yo, and then I'm just looking at you and I was like, that's nice. And I
Yeah.
think they get the picture. You know what I mean?
Good.
Because I like artwork. I mean, I'm not a great painter, but I like to doodle and mess around. And so if I ever got it in my head that I wanted to display the artwork and for people to, whatever, I don't think that's wrong either. I may not be the best artist, but
Yeah.
art is something that you can do. You just create, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's true because sometimes there are artists out there that do make it to the top levels and they're not necessarily the best singers or the best
Nah.
artists, but there's something special about
Yeah,
them.
there's definite. Look at a lot of the influencers now. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
on Instagram and these type of things. There's something special about them. They don't sing, they don't dance, but it's something special about their personality that people like.
Yeah.
And it draws, they draw people to their being, you know what I mean? So yeah.
True. Very true. It's a different time these days.
Yes.
So, okay, we're on question number 5. We're almost halfway there. You've been a tremendous factor in bringing dancehall to the mainstream globally,
Yeah.
right? Through your party anthems, through teaming up with some of the biggest stars in the world. So, congrats on everything you've done there. And I've grown up on dancehall. I love dancehall growing up in the UK. But, you know, it's quite a controversial genre, and often talks about violence and misogyny, etc. You have quite a hard stance right now when it comes to dancehall lyrics and what you feel artists need to do to be a little more conscious. And so tell me what that stance is, and how do you think lyrics have affected what's going on in Jamaica in terms of the rate of violence?
I never really ever said that the music causes violence. I never said that one lyric caused someone to actually go and do that lyric. But I do believe that. Also, I must say that I think this music is for that. It's for telling what's happening in your life now. Hip hop does it, reggaeton does it, you know, Afrobeat does it. We're kind of a up to date music where we speak about our lives, our likes, our dislikes, our you know, our dreams, our aspirations. But there comes a point where it gets oversaturated with one topic, and you have to kind of change it up for a certain just for the reason that art reflects life is the very reason. It's not natural to be just going one direction all your life. There's things you learn, there's things you grow at. So I do believe that people must speak about the violence it's in our society. I do believe that people must speak about love. It's in our society. I do believe that people must speak about, you know, exciting things. It's in our society. But was that a cat?
It was. His
Big
name's
up.
Chewy, and he actually sounds like Chewbacca.
Big up,
From
Chewy.
Star Wars.
Big up, Chewy.
Yeah, big up to Chewy. Yeah, Chewy. Chewy's all excited now, but sorry.
Yeah, but I just think that a lot of the times we over embellish one side of the things that we speak about. And so it becomes glorified, and then we become complacent with the idea of violence, and then it turns into you know, just being as I said, numb about it. And I don't have to be numb about that. I've had friends that I said passed away, unfortunately, untimely, through violence, through violent means. And so for that reason too, I don't like to hear them songs anymore. As a kid, I loved it. Loved the clash culture. Love how you know, how sharp it made us as MCs, like, you know, battling and them thing there. But after a while now, we told what's in the streets. It's up to society and governments to be like, hey, well, this is what's happening in the streets, then we need to do something about this urgent. Nothing happens, you know what I mean? And so these kids keep trying to speak what they're seeing every day. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be that every day. They should sing about, if they're going to be a gangster in the song, they should sing how gangster paranoia is a thing. They should sing how them can't trust them back. They should sing about, you know, the police that's after them. They should sing about when they first got that shot, how awful it was for them, the first shot. But they don't reflect that part of the life, and that's my problem with it. And it's too much in one direction, and just cutting down a moral sense of or a moral standard of emotional feeling for another person, you know.
Yeah. Do you think, correct me if I'm wrong, but would you say that the worst time for it was when it was Movado versus Vibes Cartel?
That was a bad time. It was a very dark time in the
Gaza.
music. I can't say bad because it was good for them who was clashing, but also it's just a dark time. When you see, from before that, there was a clash with Ninja Man and Shabba Ranks when I was a kid, when I was younger, as a teenager. But I would walk in the city in square, a place called Parade downtown, and I saw two grown men fighting over that. And I do take the ice pick and like hit a guy, stab a dude right there.
Oh
So
my
blood
God.
everywhere, and I'm like, this is over the song. This is ridiculous. This is over stupid things. So, you know, especially those times, my mind was against all type of things like that. So I didn't like to see it. I became complacent with it, and then it's like I understood when it was happening again with Mavado and Cartel. But you know, I don't say that we aren't tribal people. I don't say that we don't have to defend what's ours. But at the same point in time, we've done it too long, and there's other music who have come up under us, like reggaeton. I don't hear them doing that with each other a lot. I don't hear them really warring or throwing a lot of words at each other. They just get together and do the collabs and leave out the clash and get the cash. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we need to do more of. Not saying we need to leave out all of the bad man bravado, because it's part of our whole existence. It's part of who we are. But we also need to tell the real side too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think that after the Mavado Vibes Cartel situation, that artists learned from that? Did you see any change in the music at that point?
You mean more people wanting that type of attention and doing more songs like that? That's what happened.
Well, that's not what I was thinking, but is that what happened?
Yeah. More people started to be like, hey, yo. So there's kids who like, I'll be like, yo, don't kill them in the song, bro. I'll be in the studio and I'll touch the mic and be like, yo, don't kill them in the song. Bad them up maybe, but don't kill while they're recording. And they're like, bro, it's what the crowd wants from me. You know what I mean? But when there's so much killing, like regular, like in the day-to-day, when it comes to, I feel like asking a lot of those artists, you ever had somebody real close to you be shot? Like up close? You ever had that experience? I can't say that a lot of them have complacency with violence yet. But have they actually experienced that loss? I don't know. When I experience the loss, I don't want to sing about that. I don't want to feel like a hypocrite saying it, because 9 shots went into my brethren.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a hypocrite saying those things. I understand sound clashes. I understand the competition and the sport like effect of it. But we just have done it too much, man. We do it too much.
Do you feel that sometimes the artists might not be taking it so seriously? They're doing it to gain the attention, but it's the fans.
Yeah, it is. It is for the attention. But you know, when you look at how your brain works, you know, you learn the ABCs by a song. It's word sound power to me. You could teach somebody, yo, ABC, and they were like, huh? I can't remember it as well as A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It gets you there way more easier. So with that being said, like also to do things in life, everything is not as easy as pouring a glass of water and drinking it. You have steps towards accomplishing those goals. When these words are put into your head, it's not now that you're going to pick up a gun and go do something crazy, but you become so complacent with it that in the future something happens and you use the first thing, you're like, yo, my gun there.
Yeah.
Because you no longer think like there's a way around it other than this is what's going to come down to. And there's a lot of times in life where there is so much more that you could do, think about, to get yourself out of certain bad situations or not even go down that road.
Yeah.
And I think we don't do that enough, and we just have become more, so the songs today, 15, 20 years from now, there's going to be people who are just so desensitized that it's just a part of their life. That's my feeling on it. So it don't make people do it now, but it does in the future. And if you care about your kids, you have to look out for that. Words
Has
sound
anyone
power.
ever tried to take
your words shall become flesh and walk amongst men? That's in the Bible. That's to me an important thing to remember, especially as a musician. Not the business part. The business part will follow me.
Yeah. Has anyone ever tried to take you down that path, like where you had beef with them, they were trying to create beef?
There's one or two, but I've always, as I said, just looked at the bigger picture. I'm like, you know, I don't have to split the crowd in half who like me or don't respect me. You know what I mean? I don't have to kind of go at people like that to make a song. Why?
Yeah.
To make a song that's supposed to be a joyful noise unto the Lord, I'm supposed to start showing you. I think of myself so much and so greatly that I think that you don't have no talent over me. That's what it is when you're clashing like that, because you are thinking in that mind frame. So you're bringing forth the spirit of contention between you and the people who are supposed to be leading the world in good vibes and moral attitudes. You know what I mean? We are artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, we create.
So, yeah. Was it another big artist that tried to do that?
1 or 2 times. Yeah, but it's like I was like, I ain't answering. I don't have to. And it was not straight out. Some of them was the songs. It was just what they said in the media, and I could have, as some people do, take it as, yo, that's a diss. I mean, I forgot this and back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Big up director Diggs, man. Yeah, positive vibes all the way. See my brethren in here, you know?
Oh, nice. Yeah. Can you say who it was, or you're not really comfortable?
Nah, but there was one time that 2 artists were clashing, and one was like, yo, do this song with me. Like, you know, and I was like,
they wanted to bring you into the clash with the other.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it.
Got it. Yeah. Well, that brings me to question number 6, because you've got a very uplifting, conscious dancehall album that's going to be coming out called Live and Living. And
Live and Living.
Buju on there, you've got Damian Marley on there, you've got Sarani.
Yeah.
Who else do you have on there?
It's funny because I have the new sound of dancehall, what people kind of call it trappish. I don't call it trap. We call it dancehall because that's the genre I'm in. But so also yes, Junior Gang is on it, but we did the album very crazy because some of the songs are very conscious and some aren't. I mean, some are just like the same usual party, let's go at it kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But the ones, the artists like that you expect to go conscious on it, sometimes they just went party with me. Like for instance, Junior Gang and Buju, the both of them went girl songs, party vibes with me on here. And,
we don't hear that much from Damian Marley.
Yeah, and this one is very different for me. He's talking very suave to the lady, I would say. Yeah, big up to him. But like there's Busy Signals on the album, and that's a nice big party tune. Also Suko from Ward 21. The song with Sarani is a more thoughtful song. It's like a prayer. He's saying, Lord, protect me from my enemies. The more they fight, I get stronger. The one with Left Side is a party tune. Governor is an ex-party tune. The one with Jesse Royal is a very meaningful song. It's about putting down the guns. It features Muta Baruka and also Stonebwoy. Stonebwoy is the only person from outside of Jamaica on this album. He came here last week actually and bad me up and was like, yo, I want to get on this album, bro. So big up to Ghana.
Last week. So it was just recently.
He just did on it now because that song's been out from December as like a warm-up single. And, he came here and demanded to be on the album, you know what I mean? So, I was like, great, remix, and we did a video same time. So the video for that song is coming out, and it's kind of like a mini movie where, we're kind of showing how the cycle of violence can start and how negative it is. And in the song, I'm saying, why can't we see that life is a gift where we're fighting wars? We don't need that. When every day is already hard for a ghetto youth, for us to be, we didn't bring the guns to Jamaica. We're not big businessmen that own the wharf. We're not big politicians that can, sneak it under the counter and bring in these guns and these bullets. But we are shooting each other, and that's something that we need to take account for. We are the ones shooting each other, and there's other ways to solve disputes, man. And that's what I mean by this whole gun culture kind of just people being complacent. There was one time in Jamaica, you would think, I can't pull my gun and kill this dude conscionably for this reason. But now it's no second thought. It's like, Bo, you out. And that's how, and a lot of people kind of get in trouble for it. So that song is a very meaningful song.
Yeah.
I have another song called Danger Zone that's kind of it features sorry, Bugle. Excuse me. I have a song that just dropped today. It's a next warm-up single. A big tune. It's by me and Intense, a young kid. Well, I shouldn't say young kid, but a young DJ who is really making waves in the dancehall space right now. And so, as I said before, everybody I'm trying to shine the light on, I think they've given me a lot of light, a lot of energy from just inspiring me too. So, love the work. And that's the first album. The second album features people like Sia, people like Gwen Stefani and Sia in one song. Tove Lo is on the album.
Yeah.
Stylo G
Ty Dolla $ign.
And Ty Dolla $ign. Yeah. So a good little vibe, you know what I mean? These two albums, one reflects more hardcore dancehall and one reflects more poppy side. Yeah, somebody asked me to big him up right here. All right, Dwight Willis, big up yourself. Uppercut. I will do, sir. Big up.
By the way, somebody said they want the cornrows back. Will we ever
Yeah, I mean, I can't do it. I can't grow back the hair. I do still have hair. I just shave it off. But
yeah,
I don't know. I kind of love the bald head feeling right now. One day, maybe I'll do it. But I'll probably be all gray by then.
The great too. The cornrows were cool back then. Yeah, people miss your gray.
If I wait too long, Sharon, I'll be all gray by then. I'll have gray cornrows.
Gray cornrows. That might be a look, though. That could be
yeah, it could be.
So tell me which album is closest to your heart, the dancehall one or the one with the more poppy vibe?
This one here, the closer to my heart right now. I believe in the both albums full-heartedly, and I think that the second one called Scorcher is really gonna fly. But this one here, Live and Living, I really believe in, because of that whole sentiment. And it's kind of one of the reasons why I didn't do, or I don't want to do, when people ask me, would I do a Verzuz? I'm like, no. Because I conceptualized this album last year early, and I started working on it. And it's about unity. It's about, collab over clash. Let's get the cash. It's not about going against someone. And so even in that respect, as Verzuz, I respect the people who put it on. I respect everybody who has done it. But I don't want to do it. It's not that I'm afraid of people in a clash. I just don't like clashes. Because not me. Yeah, so
I was going to ask you more about that, but I'll ask you about it now. Have you watched many of the Verzuz, Basil?
I've watched a few, especially the one with Bunty and Beanie. And that was legendary, of course. And I felt very proud for the numbers that we brought in. But then again, we were left out for the cover of the magazine. They didn't show Bunty and Beanie, and that was very unfortunate. So,
which magazine was that?
It's Billboard magazine.
Oh, Billboard didn't show Beanie and Bunty.
Yeah, so they we had the largest numbers so far. Yeah, big up Leah Big Gang. We had the largest numbers in terms of people came to watch Bunty and Beanie a lot.
Yeah.
And then weeks later, they put out a publication saying the Verzuz platform is really dope. And they showed a lot of people's faces, but they left us out. And to us, it was like, we bought most of the numbers there. We helped to make the platform bigger. So I was like, you know what? I think that the respect for us, now I'm going to stand out against it. I'm just not going to do it. You know what I mean? And hopefully, I did the song called Lionheart because of that.
And you talk about it in there.
Yeah, where I'm like, it's the only single song on that album. And I basically was trying to say that, I've sold some of the most in my genre. I think I have a say in where I want to take my own career. I don't want to be someone who, walks on this great highway that Bob Marley paved for me. Bob Marley paved this highway for me. If he didn't do what he did, and people like Jimmy Cliff and people like Toots and people like Third World, Burning Spear, up to people like Shabba Ranks and people like Shaggy, and if they didn't do what they did, then I couldn't do what I'm doing here. So I'm to come on this platform as one of the biggest sellers or the biggest person that that people would recognize for this genre and then clash somebody from my genre or even in a related genre. I don't want to do that, man. I want the music to be more about making a joyful noise unto the Lord, not to be kind of ridiculing and disgracing somebody else's music because I had a better track to pull at the next moment. That's for a sound system. That's fine. They could go ahead and do that. But artist to artist, I don't like it because we supposed to, as I said, lead the world in educating the moral standards and also entertain people. And I don't think it's entertaining no more for me to watch people go at each other. I just don't. There's been too much of it in real life. For going down the road to get a bagel, you see people like, well, yeah, if you like it's too much aggression out there. And for me to put out music like that, fuck that. Excuse my language.
Yeah, totally. Do you, when you watch the Beanie and Bounty one, because I felt like they were quite supportive of each other, that they looked like they were just having a blast. I know not everyone has seemed like they're having the best time.
For sure not. I mean, even but I just want to enjoy Keisha Cole and Ashanti together without them having to draw songs against each other. You know what I'm saying? So big up to them. They did it. We love that. But for me, it's not for me, and that's it. And not everything do I have to jump on. You know what I mean? Like with Twitter, I didn't get on Twitter immediately. I'm just not of that generation that wanted to be on Twitter and say what was always on my mind and whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay to be just like, I don't want to do that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Speaking of getting on new, well, it's not new anymore, but Twitter was new at one point when you weren't on it. What do you think about Clubhouse? Are you on Clubhouse?
I've never been on Clubhouse. I've heard it's very interesting. One day people will invite me in there. I'll probably talk off my head. But, I think it's a cool platform. I think it's a cool platform. I've just never been on it. People described it to me on what it's like. That's really cool. But I've never been.
It's definitely interesting. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Oh, what? Actually, before we get to the next one, question 7. Why are you releasing the album so close together? Is it because this is these are your first albums in 8 years, right? I know you put an EP out. But,
I was kind of gonna do the Live and Living last year almost, and you know, the whole 5-month thing happened, and I kind of got set back, and I was like, you know what? If I do save this again, it's gonna be too long. I need to put it out now. It sounds like now to me, and I want to put this out. And the other one was scheduled to come out about that same time. You know what I mean?
Got
it. Yeah. Joe Nasty, big up yourself. My G's are on here. They're bugging me.
Nice.
They say they like you, Sharon. They say they like you a lot. I don't know what is wrong.
Oh, good. Everyone likes me. Everyone likes you too. Sure.
You don't want my friends.
We're likable people.
Disgusting.
Huh? I didn't hear what you said. Maybe that's a good thing. Okay, so question number 7, right? You've performed in over 100 countries. That's a lot of flying right there. You've taken to the stage in over 100 countries. Which country were you in when you realized for the first time, wow, I am a global superstar? I'm here. I made it. What do you remember that moment?
New York, and hearing my name.
New York, where I am.
On the radio in the night, because dancehall didn't play on the radio in the night.
No.
And friends of my own, who are DJs, we were making some club circuits in that night, and you would usually hear dancehall music in the clubs at night.
Yeah.
But we didn't hear dancehall music all the time, and I was starting to hear it in the day a lot. But then we got out to the club like 2:30, got into the car, turned it on, deport them. And I'm like, yo, and they're like, yo.
What was it?
Deport them. Song called Deport Them. No, it was about 2000, just about then, that it started to actually kick off onto that real big level. I mean, Jamaicans were in, Brooklyn, big up Brooklyn, and everybody who is Jamaican in the Bronx and all those areas.
And Queens.
Yeah, in Queens, because basically they already knew those musics. But when I'm talking about when it went over that, when DJs that don't play our music was playing my music, it felt amazing, especially because I was on authentic dancehall rhythms, and it just felt like it should have been there all this time. We already played in every club, but we never were represented on every radio station until that time. So I started to, because I know that, I started to feel the vibes from them time. I remember Rockefeller wanted to get involved and buy the album, and I first met Jay-Z.
Really? What, Jay-Z and Damon at the time?
Yeah, Damon at the time was the first. I met him first, and then a friend of mine knew their barber and took me along when the barber was gonna cut their hair up to their office. And I met Jay-Z there, and he said, he started to show me how much times my song was playing, and he was kind of the one that opened my eyes to the bigger audience that I was getting, and I felt that was a pretty cool day. You know what I mean?
Wow. What did you guys talk about when you met him? That was your first time meeting Jay?
Yeah, in the office. Basically he was saying, Big Pimpin' was a big song for him, and it was playing 43 times a week. And he was like, Deport Them is playing 42 times a week. He's like, that's 7 times a day. That's amazing for dancehall. Do you know what that means? And he was kind of drilling, like, let me think about that. And I finally understood it when I got to do the Summer Jam that year. The amount of people that was there,
Yeah.
Totally different from the scale of shows that I usually been going to.
Yeah. By the way, someone in the chat said I'm too young to remember Deport Them. No, I know Deport Them. I was like, I love Deport Them. What I meant was it Hot 97, the radio station that was playing the song? I just wondered if that was the one that was playing it.
Yeah, Hot 97, yeah.
Yeah. I thought so. Okay,
sure.
Gotcha. Okay, so that was the moment you first realized you're a superstar. What about what country were you in when you had your most awkward or embarrassing on-stage moment? Because there must have been some with all those performances. We probably wouldn't have known because you're such a professional, but...
Do I remember now? Awkward. Okay. Awkward on stage. Not too much on stage, but in an interview.
Okay.
So I was chilling out backstage at an interview with in a reggae festival, and Lee Scratch Perry is a god to the music, to the genre, to me. He's a very prolific person. He's someone who helped Bob Marley's music to sound like what it sounded like right before he was like Bob, like so.
Wow.
Big up to Scratch Perry. I was in the interview talking just like I'm talking to you, and I feel somebody put something on my head. I'm like, what is that? When I look, I got a picture of it. I'll show you. A big Merlin hat is on my head now, and I'm like, what's going on? And it's Scratch Perry sitting beside me, and he's hugging me up, and he's saying, yo, this is the new Reggae Merlin. And the person that was interviewing me, they obviously knew who he was, or else it would have been even more awkward.
Yeah.
But I was in the middle of a sentence, and he just didn't care what me needed to say, you know what I mean? and so, yeah, big up Red Rat tuning in. Enough respect, bro. And then, yeah, he gave me a big crystal, which I still got today. A big, long, them crystal like people use and meditate and that stuff. And I never forget that. But it was a very awkward moment in an interview for me. Because first of all, I wanted to be like, yo, this dude is the GOAT.
Because you didn't know who it was and what was going on.
Yeah, I was confused. I was like, I just came off the stage. They were interviewing me. I felt something. I'm like, well, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, and he's talking to them. He's not talking to me. And I'm like, what? And then me and him reasoned after, but it was a weird thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you were probably in the middle of saying something really deep at the time as well.
Maybe I wasn't saying nothing really, but I was just shocked to see him like kind of bigging me up. It was cool.
Yeah, that was nice. That's a memorable moment though.
Yeah, man.
A memorable moment. Okay, last one tied to this question. Where did you have your wildest fan experience? Like, what country has the wildest and craziest fans? Because I remember the story that you told where somebody let themselves into your hotel room, or they
Yes.
somebody, I don't know if they paid them off, a staff member at the hotel, but they ended up in your hotel room and you walk in like, who the hell is this? But
Yeah,
where
that
was
was a
your
crazy moment.
wildest fan experience?
Another wild fan experience. That one was kind of stalkish, so I don't want to really talk about it. But
Yeah,
it was just
where
a
was
wild
that one?
incident for me. Other than that, I haven't had much crazy stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What country was that one in?
All over
I
the
feel like
world.
it's probably the UK.
That
Where?
was in several countries.
Oh, so it's happened a number of times.
Yeah, yeah,
Not the same person.
yeah.
The same person.
I'm not talking about it, Miss Carpenter.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
leaving that one alone.
Has she left? Is she leaving you alone though? That's the big question. The important
For some years now, I've been good, but yeah.
Okay.
So I don't want to really talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. Did you get the police
Big up,
involved?
Deuce. If what?
Did you get the police involved?
I thought you said another P word. I was like, huh?
Oh my god! I would
No, I
destroy
didn't
my
get the police
reputation
involved.
if that was the word that I'd be over as a journalist, or maybe not. I'd be even bigger. But no, did you get the police involved?
No, I didn't get the police involved, but the situation
Hopefully,
was
you didn't
kind
get
of.
the other P word involved either.
Yeah, no, I did not. I did not. Thankfully.
Okay, good. Moving swiftly on as fast as we possibly can. Okay, question number 8. We're doing good. So you've been in the headlines lately. I wonder how you're going to answer these, but you've been in the headlines lately, not just for the fact that you're releasing 2 new albums, but also over some rumors and some stories that you've told. One of them we just addressed, which is Verzuz. But I did want to ask you, have you spoken to Swiss and Timberland just about your thoughts on Verzuz and
No, I mean, as I said before, I respect them on their platform. I just don't want to be on it. So people was like, "Why you got to do it? It's good for you." I'm like, not everything is good for everybody. I don't want to do it. I mean,
yeah.
So I haven't spoken to them. No, and the last time me and Swiss spoke was a few years ago. We were talking about doing a song with Alicia Keys, and I didn't really hear anything back from them.
Got it.
So yeah. Yeah.
Got it. They were they trying to pair you with Shaggy at the time? Is that what people wanted? Like you versus Shaggy? Is that what?
No, he's the one that actually called me and said, "Yo, people are telling me that they want us to do this."
Okay.
And I was like, I don't want to do it. And he's like, neither me. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I was in an interview and someone said to me, you know, would you do a Verzuz? And I was like, nah, I think it reminds me of clashing, and clashing is like, to me, almost the same slavery thing. And everybody blew up. What the fuck y'all talking about?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Because clashing is a big part of our culture.
Yeah.
But at this point, I just think we've done so much. You know, we evolve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Chuck Berry's rap music don't sound like Kurt Cobain's rap music, but it's rock music, and it's by the same. It's in America, right? So,
Yeah.
but so there's times where we should evolve, and I think that nowadays, you know, look at Shaggy, look at Coffee, look at myself. None of us had to do that to make our name or to be respected.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to say to the younger kids who ain't started to rhyme yet or spit yet, like, do it in a different way. You know what I mean? Try after something different other than the same old now. Because now it's just the same old. Violence on top of violence, gun upon gun. And I can't bother with it, man.
Yeah.
Because we in Jamaica, we get expressive with our clashing, and I mean, we start talking, we start calling each other's mothers' names now.
Yeah.
And kids' names. That ain't right. That's not right. So I don't want that.
You guys, you hit below the belt sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
A question came to mind. It's not one of the 10 in 10, but was Supercat somebody who was a big inspiration to you?
Very big inspiration to me.
Yeah.
every time I DJ'd at school or sang at school, people would be like, if it was a Shabba Rank song or somebody else song, they'd be like, oh, you sound like Cat. Just the tone that I have.
Yeah.
And so I always loved that. I was always like, yo, I sound like Cat. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And to me, Cat was a bad boy who was also somebody who turned his life around from being someone who actually was a political warrior, and started to make music and spit dope rhymes. And you know, he was also very suave for the ladies, and that was, I felt that was my personality as well. You know what I mean? So I love the comparisons, and I've always emulated his style. And you know, I cannot be him. I cannot be Shabba, who are people who I love their music and emulated their music. But what they gave to me and me trying to do their music turned me into something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for everybody who wants to do music, yeah, you should love the elder stars that have come before you, and you should emulate their music, and it, you know, they are there for that reason, for you to learn from them.
Yeah.
And then if you do get the spot, you have to teach too.
And then you find yourself, if you're emulating somebody else along the way, you hopefully find yourself within that.
Yeah, you do.
And your own unique style.
You definitely do. I mean, you know, emulate these people, but you're not them. But after a while, there's things that your brain starts clicking to you know, develop your sound in your own specific way, and then that gives the next generation something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Great. Okay, so back to the headlines. So that was Verzuz. So part B. Okay, you've been asked this a cajillion times, but I feel like we still don't know. Okay, so headlines just came out saying that obviously there's been this rumor that's been going around for 20 years.
Yes, ma'am.
About you and working with Beyonce on Baby Boy, and the fact that we didn't get to see you really perform, aside from one performance at the MTV Europe Awards.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that in a sec. But in terms of the video, you guys also shot your scenes separately. So there was a rumor that Jay-Z was being super protective and didn't want you around Beyonce. You did an interview recently where it seemed like you were saying, yeah, those rumors are true. But then you also did another interview recently just after that, and you said, oh no, my words were taken out of context. And
here we go again.
So you never have to answer this question ever again for the next 20 years of your career.
Yeah.
What was the deal, Sean? Come on. What's the deal?
We did a very big hit song, and it was a sexy song, and people felt all kind of ways and said, I mean, I'm not saying that. So that's an example of how people could misconstrue this thing. For me saying that, oh, Jay-Z fell away. I never ever said that out of my mouth, ever. Okay. Those are rumors. Those are rumors, but I did say that these rumors started because the song was huge and some weird things happened when we performed the song a couple times. That's all I really said. And so MTV Music Awards in Europe, that was a weird experience. I've never had that happen to me in all of my years up to that point, and since that Pro Tools. And
explain what happened there, because I watched it the other day. They did two versions, didn't they?
Yes.
One of the versions. Tell everyone what happened.
Well, we opened the show with the song Baby Boy. She's on stage, she's singing the song. I come up in a chair. We get close together singing the song, and then we walk down a runway, and we're in a circle. The circle's on fire, and then I'm supposed to sing my verse, and there's weird things like it just started to skip, and that's never happened to me before. Pro Tools is something that you or your engineer set in a thing. So, you know, maybe people thought that some weird stuff was going on because there was weird stuff going on. That's what I meant by all that.
Did they think they thought it was sabotage?
My band would think that. My band was like, yo, what is that? So I'm like, you know what? It is what it is, whatever it is. And there was a point in time the rumors got so crazy that she called me over to in a show where she was. I forget where this was. It might have been the MTV Awards. And she was like, people are saying all these type of things. I'm like, I just want you to know I'm not saying this, you know. You know, so it's weird because I've been to radio stations and interviews like this where people is like, come on, bro. And I'm like, no, nothing never happened. So weird things happen, but nothing never happened between me and her, you know.
Yeah.
So people take it in their own context. It was a big, huge, sexy song, and proud to be on it. And that's it. I mean, I see her as someone who's very talented. I see her as someone who's very determined and focused. Same thing for Jay-Z. You know, those three things: determined, focus, and talent. And I also have those. You know what I mean? I have a lot of determination, a lot of focus, and I do have my little bit of talent. You know what I mean?
You have a whole lot of talent. And I love all three of you. I love Beyonce, I love Jay, I love you as well. But are you saying, just so no one ever has to ask you this ever again in life, you're saying that Jay-Z had nothing to do with the fact that we didn't see you performing often with Beyonce and you guys shot your scenes separately in the video?
I have no idea what the reason was when they said the day before the video. So I've never said that Jay-Z was the reason. I said that the day before the video, I was told, hey, you're not in any scene with her, by the way, from the director. And I was like, oh, why? And he said, it's just because you're in a dream world and she's dreaming of you. And I was like, okay, cool. And that was it. But a lot of people who was around me was upset. I was upset too, but I you know, I don't show my emotions in that way. I'm not gonna come out and be like, yo, everybody, they hating on me. And people saying this is stale news, Sharon. People saying this is old news.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
boys,
I mean it is, but it just came back up in the headlines.
Yeah.
So
Big up Glenn, big up Glenn.
It did.
I was just digging up my boys. They teasing me. But yeah, honestly,
it is, but here's the thing as well.
That's just how it is.
When you have a chance to speak on it directly, then that shuts people up about it, right? And then the rumors are over.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah. Okay. So you also spoke recently, and this was in the headlines too, about your experience with Justin Timberlake.
Yes, ma'am.
And the whole being escorted out of the recording studio.
It was very suave. It was very
in a very suave way. So I wanted to know, did you guys ever have the chance to meet again after that? And what was the interaction like at that point? And did you also ever have a chance to collaborate on anything?
No, never had the chance to collaborate on anything with him. I thought that was my opportunity at the point in time. I was working with Pharrell, and they were like, yo, when you finish that verse, come over here. We're working with Justin. I was like, oh, dope. Finish the verse. Wanted Pharrell to hear it. He said, come over there. So I did. And when I went over there, you know, I must have disturbed his thought process of the song or whatever. He was playing the piano, which he does very well. He's talented, and he was, you know, all in with Pharrell. And I came in, and I was sitting down and listening, and Pharrell looked at me. So I was like, oh, I got a line for this. And I said the line, and he looked at me, and he's like, who's that? Kind of thing. And I was like, oh, damn. And he's like, that's Sean Paul. He's like, who? I don't. And he was like, yeah, he sings that song. He's like, okay. He said, sing your song. And I was like, wow, I have to sing my song for So I said, my song, my one song. So I said, just give me the light and pass the Joe. And he was like, oh, yo, I know that's oh, yeah. Come here. You got to meet my boy. He carries me outside, and I met his security guard, and I understood what was happening to me. Yeah, because it was very smooth, but I didn't appreciate it. So I guess it came out years later in a interview. But I'm not the one to really keep those. Like I felt weird then, and I said it in the interview years later. Like just the other day, just because I think it's funny the way he did it.
That is pretty suave. That was a smooth move.
It was funny, and then he was just like, yeah, talk with your boy, and he went back inside. So that's really what that was about. Yeah. But yeah, funny.
And that was early on in your career. So did you ever meet him again later on once you'd become this worldwide global superstar?
Just probably shook hands and said, "Yeah, what's up?"
Yeah.
You know, we were up for the same award, American Music Award in 2006. Me,
Interesting.
him, and Justin Tip and Kanye, and
Okay.
I wanted over them at that time. But again, that's old news, Sharon. That's old news, man.
Old news is still interesting news, okay? And it's new news when there's a new information
Yeah,
and new stuff
true.
to add to this. So don't act like you guys don't want to hear this. Stop it. Don't.
Okay, guys, do you want to hear more about my beef? Still got beef. I'm a
And
vegetarian when it comes down to
yeah,
that.
I wouldn't even call it beef. I'd call it maybe a
Exactly.
slight grudge, if anything, at best. Not
Yeah,
even.
man, it was a slight nudge out the way. Like, get out of
Yeah.
here, bro.
Okay, so we're going to move on. We're going to move on. So question number 9. So as you mentioned, you've been quarantining with your family. You have a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful kids as well. And you and your wife, you got married in 2012.
Yes, man.
Yeah. But you've been together for a long time. Does it take a certain type of person, do you think, to be with an entertainer and someone who's a worldwide star? Like what kind of person do you think it takes? Because it's probably not for the faint of hearts.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing sometimes. You know, you're
Yeah.
apart a lot. There's a lot of craziness that happens.
Yeah.
You know, so me and her have been through a lot, and you know, just for that reason, I have a lot of respect for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for her because she didn't have to stick around on it. You know what I'm saying? And give me 2 beautiful kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who, when I look into their eyes, I see myself. This is amazing. So I'm really loving the family thing right now. Yeah, man.
Yeah. You guys have a gorgeous family. I saw your Christmas picture, I think it was,
Thank
with
you.
all of you by the tree. Just beautiful. How old are your kids?
Levi's gonna be 4 tomorrow. That's my son.
Okay. Oh,
And
happy birthday, Levi.
yeah, 20th of February, and my daughter is the 20th of August, and
Okay.
she'll be 2 then. So she's
Do you
like a
think
year and a half now.
okay. So she's the youngest.
Yeah,
And do
right.
you think they're going to follow in your footsteps? Do you think that
Levi is
Levi
very
showing any
musical.
signs? Yeah.
Levi is very musical. He's like you know, he remembers songs. One of his favorite bands with me is the 21 Pilots.
Oh,
He
really?
likes Nirvana too. He likes
Okay.
all the stuff I do.
So
he
he
just
likes
trying
a
to
lot of
learn.
the rock stuff.
He trying to learn how to spit. Yeah, he might be.
Okay.
Yeah, but right now he's into the Ninja Turtles and the Power
Oh,
Rangers, and you know that age group. But
yeah.
he loves music a lot more than I had expected at this point. I
Yeah.
think Remy is a dancer. Right now she has no words, so she can't sing really.
Yeah.
She hums along, but she's a dancer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's always
Would you
dancing.
want them to follow in your footsteps musically?
I want them to do what they want to do. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't have to have a legacy of. I have a legacy of music. I don't have to have a legacy music family
Yeah.
to feel contented. I want them to feel contented, then I will feel good. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So whatever they want to do. Right now, last year Levi wanted to be a fireman, and
Oh.
I think this year the focus has changed. I think he wants to be Spider-Man.
Oh.
You know that. That's how it is.
That sounds about normal.
Yeah. So
Nice.
when he's showing me talent though in terms of, but I'm not pushing him into it at all. Yeah, if he wants to
Okay.
do it when he gets older, then I'll be like, yo, I'll help him out in terms of record him or give him
Okay.
advice. But yeah.
Yeah. What do you think is a good age to get into it?
I think probably when school is like done. It
Okay.
takes a lot. It takes a lot out of your day to day to be an artist. It's actually very narcissistic almost. You have to think about your lyrics, your pictures, your clothes you're gonna wear,
Yeah.
your video, your write up that you're in, your interviews. You be on time, like, and you have to leave everybody else out from your family. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want that for him. And, like when I started that behavior as the artist, I knew who I was already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so by the time that come around now, it's like I knew that okay, I have to think about these things or whatever. But as a youngster, me thinking of that, I'd probably be a ruined individual right now. Because you can't be so and you've seen me from way back in the day, Sharon. I was never that really narcissistic in that point. Like
not at all.
And that's a lot what gets us into beefs too, us being like, you know, so like I'm kind of like a god, nothing must even say no to me. Nothing.
Yeah.
Not even the plant.
The interesting thing though is you kind of have to really love yourself to be able to go out in front of a crowd of hundreds of thousands of people, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. But believing in yourself is loving yourself, and that's what I do. But not loving myself like I think I'm the God. No.
Yeah.
I think we are tributaries to the main, but I don't think I'm the God. Nah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, you've always been very humble. You've always been a really, really good guy.
Thank you.
What advice do you have for just all of the rest of us in terms of finding longevity in a relationship? Because, you know, showbiz relationships, they come and they go. They don't last very long oftentimes. And regular relationships also often have that problem. So what do you think? What does it take to have a good, healthy, long-lasting relationship?
Understanding. Yeah. Understanding. Because it's two different individuals. I mean, even twins, they're born in this world together. They experience different things at different times, at points. They are two different people. So, I mean, you know, when you get, you know, you fall in love or whatever, you get hitched up and you go get married. It's two different personalities, two different people, and you have to have understanding. That's my thing. Yeah. I see from her perspective a lot. She sees from my perspective. She could get it. There's sometimes we clash. You have to talk about it and work it out. You know what I mean? There's always that part of me that's willing to see the other side. There's some parts where I'm like, hell no, I ain't going. You know what I mean? I ain't taking no for the answer with that one. But yeah, most of the time is to have a long lasting relationship. How I've done it is to be understanding.
Yeah. Understand the other person's point of view.
Yeah, and put yourself in that perspective and go, oh wow, that would be difficult to deal with, or that's fun. That's why they like that. You know what I mean? I like sports. Yeah. I like swimming and water polo. My wife don't like outside. She like the inside. But there's, you know, and the opposites attract in that respect too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And communication, I'm sure, is probably a big part of that. So that someone communicates and then you understand what they're saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, good.
I think I just get it. I don't need to.
You just get it. Yeah, because you know each other so well.
Especially at this point.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, good advice. So we're at number 10. This is a really scandalous one. I'm just kidding. Calm down, everybody.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Sean doesn't mind. I think the audience does. Okay, so question number 10. What is the biggest lesson you have learned in life? And what advice can you give us from your own experience with learning that lesson?
Sorry, say that again.
So what's the biggest lesson you've learned on this journey of life? And what advice can you give us from what you've learned from that experience?
One of the biggest lessons I learned was to be humble. You know, I'm an uptown kid from Jamaica, which is a third world country. And there's many things that humbled me to see how people lived, to see how my own friends, who me and them are brethren, and they don't have the same amenities as me growing up as a middle class uptown kid. And so I got a understanding for people and an empathy for people. And I think that's always helped me be able to do what I do and help other people as well. And my mom also told me a great lesson that you know, life is about ups and downs, and it's about the experience.
Yeah.
It's not about always winning or thinking that you always lose. You know, sometimes the wave is, you're on the top of the wave, sometimes you're down in the valley of the wave, and when you are down there, you have to remember those times that when you were on the top, and remember that it's coming back up, because waves move like that. You know what I mean? It's always like that. So there's never, so I've used that in my career a lot. Like, there's been a lot of times in my career, like when I first broke in Jamaica, I was the hottest artist out here, and then a year and a half later, Lexus was the hottest artist out here, and I was like, damn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then a year after that, it's like, or 2 years after that, the Portland breaks in New York, and I start becoming a big star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And as
Being humble helps.
Go on, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I said being humble helped me. It just helped me to take my steps at my own humble pace and continue to exceed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and as you said earlier, just those down times is where you can learn so many lessons during those times.
You become the diamond there. You know, the point is how you get back up. The point is how you move on, how you get around that stumbling block, that obstacle that's in your way. That's the point, and that's what it's supposed to be. You live and you learn. There's no way that I could, you know, just come into life and just be like all knowing. There are some people that are smarter or quicker thinkers than others, but it doesn't mean that we're any greater than the other. To me, humbleness has carried me a long way. In life, a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, because no matter what happened, like, you know what? One time I was on a plane beside a brethren.
Yeah.
Sitting on the plane coming from LA to Miami. And this dude he was sitting at the window, and he seemed to be in all kind of neck braces and all the way down his back. And he sat there, and I was very tired. I'd done several recordings and shows, and I was going back to Miami like early in one of those red eyes, and I fell asleep. I woke up when I was about to land in Miami, and me and this dude started to talk. And he opened the window, and I was all groggy because of the, you know, doing all the circuit and the drinking and smoking and staying out late. Yeah. So I was groggy. And he looked outside and he said, "What a nice day." And he's in like what do you call this? Neck brace, like all the way down his back, even his arms. He's clearly been like tormented. Yeah, like. Yeah. And I'm like, this dude just said what a great day it is, and I'm being grumpy. So I started talking to this dude, and this dude was a major football player, and one day he's playing basketball at his friend's house on a hill in LA, and he dunks the ball and he falls off the hill and broke all his spine.
Oh my gosh!
Couldn't play football anymore. But put all his money into owning a basketball team. I don't remember this dude's name, but God bless him, because he brightened up my day that day. When I saw him open that window up, and I was about to be like, the window, you know what I mean? He opened the window and then he looked at me and said, "It's a nice day, huh?" I was like, this dude cannot move, he cannot walk, and he's saying it's a nice day. I better brighten up my outlook right now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you guys stay in touch?
We never stayed in touch, but I gave him an album and I gave him my music, and I was like, you know, it's for having a good time, it's for partying, and hope you enjoy it. And he was like, I'm always gonna log on to your stuff and remember. So I wish I remembered his name, but you know, I'm not in the American football culture. I don't know him. But yeah, good vibes. He taught me a lesson that day, and he reminded me to be humble same way again. You know what I mean?
And to always be grateful, which is why they say when you wake up first thing in the morning, the first thing you should do is be thankful. Say thanks to God.
Yeah,
Write down those things you're grateful for.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's special.
Yeah.
I'm about that.
Well, that was amazingly inspiring, and I know I can tell by the comments people love that answer as well.
Man.
Sean, you've spent an hour and a half with us. I really appreciate it.
Yes, your questions are captivating.
Sorry, what did you say?
Your questions are captivating.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It was a great interview.
You'd probably enjoy it. I hoped you would. So
yes.
Yeah, I tried to come up with interesting questions that might not have been asked before, but then also address the ones that people really want to know the answer
People wanted to know.
Aside from these guys, of course, so they say.
Yeah,
so Sean, I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you guys, I appreciate you watching. We've got the 2 albums to look out for. March 12th.
March 12th is Live and Living, and Scorcher will come out in May sometime. Look out for a lot of videos coming your way too. You know, a lot of the world is still in a crazy section kind of way, so lockdown here and there. So I just wanted to give music, and I hope people enjoy it, and hopefully one day we can make them shake them booty again and teach them things, and good vibes. Yeah.
What's the first thing you want to do when the world gets back to quote unquote normal?
I want to take my son to see a water park again, because he loves it. And my daughter's never been to a water park.
Wow. Because half her life she's been in quarantine.
She's never, and for that reason, she's always wanted to be outside. She's an outside kid like myself. She's like, outside. She's tired of the house, but she just started school too. She loves it, so that's an outlet for her. Okay. And you know, it's a small kindergarten. There's hardly anybody there, so they take precautions, and we kind of made that decision to send her. Trying times and weird times, but you have to have faith, and you have to kind of trust in the decisions you make. So
You totally do. You totally do. And I think we're just all leaving here feeling super inspired right now. And again, so proud of you. You are an absolute legend.
Thank you.
You're a living legend. We love you. You have provided music that has been and still is part of the soundtrack to our lives.
I appreciate it.
Will be. And will continue to be with the new stuff. So can't wait to hear both albums, and we'll be watching you on social media to see all your moves.
Thanks, my friend. Enough love.
Dance moves as well.
Yeah. I'll be trying to make the dance move, but also the big moves too. Yeah,
exactly. Are you on TikTok, by the way? Do you do TikTok dance videos and things?
I've never done a dance video. I do have a TikTok, and I need to invest more time doing that. But I've been making 2 albums, so I don't know. I had to choose that time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. It can be really time consuming. I'm not really on there like that either, but it's fun. Whenever I get on, I end up going down a rabbit hole and just being on there video after video.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one day me and you make a dance and put it on there.
Well, I don't know. I've tried my hand at some of these moves and it's just not working. I don't know. I'm good in the club, but that's about it. I try to do choreographed moves. It doesn't work.
Myself.
It's really bad.
Myself.
But thanks again, Sean, and congrats on everything. Congrats on the label as well, and we're excited for the next phase for you.
Thank you very much. This has been an amazing interview, and I'll see you soon one of these days. You stay warm. Where are you? You're in...
Oh, God. I'm in New York, so it's been snowing. But I'm probably going to move to LA sometime soon.
Okay.
That's my plan.
Wicked.
And you're staying out in Jamaica?
Yeah, for now. I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the place to be, I think, right now.
Yeah, you're all invited. Just don't have the virus.
Come on, everybody. Let's go over there.
Yeah, big up, big up.
All right, guys. Yeah, Sean will be in touch. And you guys, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoyed it.
New York, big up Shelly, big up all of my brethren, them Jonas, Duncan, big up man like Glenn, big up Deuce. Yeah, big up.
Oh, you have to do an
Big up
aria.
Luga,
You got
man.
to do the roar.
Yeah, big up. My roar is not a big roar. It looks better on Twitter and Instagram. So, but big up.
I saw your video where you explained it. It's like the lion's roar.
Yeah, real recognize real. It's
Real
lion.
recognize real as well. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you're a real one, Sean Paul. You're a real one.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye,
Appreciate
guys. And bye to all my
Later.
Barbados in the house. Mr.
Hey.
Grill. Bye, everyone.